So maybe another storage barn here close by could be a way to prevent that. So we'll see how that goes. These sheep are still very much alive. The cattle and chickens are still very much over there. Can I empty this and say chickens? So that one's been emptied. That's fine. So the chickens can work, and we can get 20 of them. So that's good. We have 9 sheep here again, which is less than good, but at least the chickens have somewhere to go. Speaking of which, there they are. That's me chickens. So they're off to do their thing, which is good. But we really, really need to kill these sheep. Because I don't want the cattle dying, you know? So if they could hurry up and just butcher them, especially that little one. You know, that little one right there, he's the ringleader. He's the one that's always up to no good. I've also just realized, very close to having this second school full, and we still have like 50 kids. So we probably want another school at some point. I'm also really thinking I might just build another pasture at this point. Because it really seems like the sheep are just not having it, so we'll build this, even if we don't end up using it right away. Because we can go for a decent size. 14 by 9 is not so bad. So we got that over there. We're down to 7 sheep. What do you guys actually produce? I assume chickens at some point will produce, well, chicken. But I assume also eggs, right? That's probably the likely... That would be the likely suspect, right? Like, no one has chickens just... Well, actually, I was about to say no one has chickens as pets. A friend of mine in high school had, like, had chickens and ducks. Like, he lived on a farm, but they didn't make anything. They weren't, you know... I mean, the chickens laid eggs. The ducks laid eggs. But they weren't doing it as, like, a production thing. They just had them because they lived on a farm, and they were like, we can have these animals. It wasn't like they had 2 chickens and 2 ducks. So... That was a whole thing. The ducks, unfortunately, sad story time. The ducks unfortunately died. It was this buddy's birthday one year, and about 5 of us were staying at his place for like a weekend just to have a bit of fun and play video games, watch movies. I think we went to the movies at one point. But because there were so many of us, oh, we can get more chickens. Interesting. I'm gonna dismiss just because we already have 2. Because there were so many of us and so much noise, the ducks got really, really irritated and ran away. Which was interesting. The ducks, like, straight up managed to escape and ran off down this country road. And we went after them to try and find them, and the stress of it all, and this wasn't done on purpose. I felt horrible. Like, I love animals. Always have, always will. But the stress of the noise and the ducks perceived it as being chased, neither of them made it through the weekend. It was actually kind of devastating, honestly. So we have 24 nomads. I'm almost tempted to say yes, purely based on the fact that we have a bunch of farms that need workers and we already have 10 laborers. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. We have 23 laborers at this point. So let's get those fishermen back up there. Let's go one less vendor. Let's go and say we want another forester. Another hunter. And that'll do, I think. I think that'll do. We have these 2 fields down here. I'm not going to do anything with those just yet. Because we have these fields up here. And I want to say potatoes, potatoes, cabbage, and cabbage. And we suddenly need 60 farmers. Leaving us with 2 laborers. So let's say 1 builder, and let's maybe say a couple less vendors. And let's see how that works out. So quite a few of them are technically homeless. I guess this is full? No? No, it isn't. Don't know why they're homeless. That isn't full, but to each their own, I guess. But they can go work these fields. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that this is suddenly a very high priority job. And this is as well. I want both those storage barns to be built ASAP. And hopefully in doing that, we can keep up with the food supplies. That's a very big hopefully, though. Might not work out at all. Good news is this is actually getting built. And I'll tell you what, let's get 1 more builder. Because, I mean, it's 60% done, 11 of 60 on the build. We are down to 1 laborer here. I swear a whole bunch of those nomads came here just to die. I swear that's what they've just done. Ah, Nerdingham seems like a great place to go and keel over. You know, that's pretty much it. That's what they did. They're like, Nerdingham seems great. Seems like a good place for me to go to just end it all. Oh. That was a little more grim than I meant it to be. Either way, if we can get this done... Oh god, farmers are dying. We had 4 kids just born? Great. Just excellent. One of the gatherers has died. Come on, this is so close to being done, man. It is late summer, so like the harvest has started, you know? We kind of need this to get finished. Because it's going to be a little bit more convenient for some of these guys to store their stuff in here. I mean, this one, it's not like this one's super far away, it's just this one is very convenient. So there we go. That'll hopefully work out for them. What have you got for me? Nothing I'm particularly interested in, so you can get out of here. And I'll tell you what, are those sheep dead? Come on! Get out of here! Get them out of here! Empty that. Let's do cattle. There we go. So we can have 8 cattle in there. So that's fantastic. There they go. Off for a swim. Alright. So that can be up and running. That's going to be up and running. This one up here will be up and running soon enough as well. Bit of a harvest coming in here. Actually not terrible considering they had like half a season to get this done. So that kind of works out. Hopefully... I mean, that's coming along at least. Oh wow, that's completely full, isn't it? How's the so storage over here is starting to fill up with logs as well. I'm wondering if I leave it long enough, will we eventually just have so many logs that all of the storage areas get filled up? Although in saying that, these areas down here are doing pretty good. Although that's mostly because of all of this. So... really, I'm hoping that the blacksmiths can actually keep up with the whole thing. I hate to keep coming full circle, but I kind of feel like that's part of what Banished is. In a way. You know what I mean? Like, Banished in a way is like, you deal with one problem, and as you deal with that, you create a problem elsewhere that you fixed previously. I mean, I might be wrong. I had some dude in the comments in like part 3 recently that was like, you know literally nothing about this game, why are you playing it? I mean... I know it may be a strange concept to that guy, but despite not knowing how to win at Banished, I happen to really enjoy it. And generally that's my reason for playing a game. So if you're watching, and you know who you are, number 1, you can't comment in the YouTube channel anymore, so don't even bother trying. But number 2, Yeah, that might be a strange idea. That might be a strange concept, but I happen to enjoy Banished and find it quite a fun game, despite not being very good at the game. Just as an FYI. Just wanted to just throw that out there as a potential reason that I might be playing it. Just as a potential reason. Anyway, have these houses over here been upgraded yet? No. I believe they aren't even in, I mean, they're in progress. There we go. So that one's sort of ready to try. I guess my builders are just super busy. Anyway, let's have a look at production. So last year, 29,028 consumed. Yeesh. That's not as good as I was hoping it would be. Although, with that said, the population did have a boom of 24 additional people all of a sudden, and we still had a positive of about 1,000, so that's actually not so bad. We also have both schools full at the moment, so I think it might be time for another one. You have chicken. You have nothing I'm interested in. So we'll get you out of here, and I think, honestly, I will get another school. That doesn't seem like a terrible idea at all. So where are we going to put this one? This one can go, I reckon, up here. I reckon up here seems like a nice place for it. So yeah, let's do that for it. Actually, no, let me cancel that. I want to put it elsewhere. Let's do the school. I don't know. I want to find a nice place for it, you know? Somewhere that it kind of looks a little central. I guess down here is not so bad, but no, there's a hill there. I'm a total idiot. Here. It's kind of close to the other one. A little bit close to the graveyard, but, you know, that seems like a good spot for it. So, school can go down there. We'll get another teacher. And hopefully everything will work out there. We actually have a lot of laborers coming through right now, which is fantastic news. Let me go ahead and say we'll get 2 more builders. And that actually gives me room to get these 2 farms up and going. So peppers, and let's say 68 farmers. So there we go. We'll get some peppers going there. We actually have room for decent food storage here, which might actually be good for the gatherers over here as well, and the hunter. So that's actually going to be in a pretty good spot, I reckon. And we'll have these fields doing their thing in no time. It would be nice to get the roads out here, and I think, honestly, we're probably going to want to leave the builders on their job for quite a while to get these roads done. But I think this area might have been a good idea. We could even go ahead and get another forester sort of up here with some stockpiles nearby. And you know what? I think I might go for one more blacksmith. Just looking at all the numbers and looking at what's going on here, I think we do need another one. And I hate to say it, because I'm actually really concerned about the fact that we need another blacksmith. But I do think we need another one. So what about a blacksmith? I don't know, up there perhaps? I guess it wouldn't hurt. We'll throw one up there and see what happens. An outbreak of mumps has occurred. Interesting. So you are diseased. You are a forester. We do have a hospital. So if you wouldn't mind going to the doctor and not spreading that around, that'd be great. There you go. So you're in the hospital. And nobody has mumps. Okay, fantastic. That is fantastic news. I was actually really concerned that could be disastrous, but it turns out everything is perfectly under control. So no complaints here at all. Right, so this is 5% full, 58% full. A lot of wool in there, actually. Which is great news. This has some roots in it. I guess you guys are close to a harvest. You guys have actually started there, which is good. So yeah, I assume this will start filling up pretty quickly. And I genuinely feel like the food situation is fine at this point. I really do. We also have this up and running, so we can go ahead and get another cleric. We apparently have another school, so we can go ahead and get another one of those. Yep, there it is. So, while we did get a massive influx of laborers, you know, we still have like 50... We have 51 children not in school. 41. We have 19 of those 53 now that can go to school. So there's still a lot that are going to come through and not be educated. But that's all right. That's all right. We also have this, so what we could do is say sheep. And we are going to need a herdsman. We'll go ahead and split that off. And immediately this has its 7 sheep. So that's pretty decent. These guys here have all been upgraded as well. And that didn't really do anything for the heating problem, which is just great. Steel tools, interesting. I want 100 of those. And in return, I will give you 100 of those. So there we go, steel tools, let's grab those. That'll keep the tool supplies up quite nicely. Tell you what we're gonna do. Let's go around and upgrade a bunch more of these houses. We don't necessarily have the stone for it at the minute, but... I mean, I think we're still harvesting down here. Yeah, so there is still a bunch of stone to harvest, which will be done at some point. Let's dismiss you and get you out of here. And those steel tools will be moved into storage at some point. Good lord, we just had a lot more laborers. Alright. Definitely not complaining. Is there anything that's currently lacking workers at the minute? I mean, the stone cutter, we could maybe go ahead and say get 5 of those again. The trader, we could maybe get 1 more of those. We could maybe get 2 more vendors. But I think we need another gatherer. But, I mean, builders aren't a super high priority, so I think we're doing okay, honestly. That's kind of nuts. This thing's actually doing pretty good as well. How's this looking? So production this year at the minute is 28,900, but 29,000 with 25,000 being the consumption. So I think the additional fields with the addition of the storage barn right next to them has wound up being a pretty good deal. So that's good. Would have been really awkward if that didn't work out and everybody just starts starving to death. So that is great news. These houses are actively being upgraded, which is great. I assume we have a couple of families living in the boarding house right now. But, you know, they can move home at some point. Not going to be too long before that can happen. And I'm also thinking, is it maybe time to head out here and start building, you know, some stone houses up this way for them? I mean, what kind of stone house have we got? I kind of like that one. I like the one with the tower at the front as well, but I really like this little one. We just don't really have the materials for it, is the problem. We also don't technically have the materials for the wood houses either. So I think having a few more stone cutters is actually going to end up being pretty good news for us. Also, blacksmith. Let's get another one of you. There we go. And that's going to be more iron tools. So here's hoping that works out. And hopefully sometime soon at that. Based on the amount of wood we have as well, I'm honestly thinking a woodcutter right up in here could be an idea. Because we have one here. But I'm genuinely thinking a woodcutter, like, right up next to these supplies is something we're gonna want. So, let's do that. Let's throw a woodcutter. I don't exactly know where. Let's say... I don't know. I think next to the supplies is kind of where it needs to be. Yeah, let's do a woodcutter there. And I'll do a stockpile in behind the woodcutter as well. So, like that. So we'll get that done. We'll see how that works out. Hopefully very well. And hopefully that'll go a long way to sorting a lot of the problems we're having. Now, obviously, I feel like it is partially a trader problem, in a way. Because in a sense, I feel like the traders are... Like, they go out to get the firewood and then they flog it off to the people living nearby. So, like, a lot of these guys aren't covered by a market at all. Which is honestly sort of fixable if we get rid of a... If we were to get rid of one of the farms, that'd be fixable. So say we get rid of this farm here. That actually... No, that doesn't do anything for us. It really needs to be front and center, so like there. But I don't really want to lose all that space for tree growth, so... That ain't gonna be happening anytime soon. Unfortunately. That's just the way it's gonna have to be. Good news, though, is this is actually ready, nearly ready to build. So we'll get that done in no time. And I think we can maybe go down to the 3 builders needed to do that. After which I think the builders are probably good to go and work elsewhere. I think, honestly, once the builders are done with the woodcutting place, one of them can go be a woodcutter, and the rest can go be laborers again. And I'm genuinely hoping this will work. I really hope this will work. I mean, it's right next to this huge wood supply. It's kind of got to, is what I'm thinking at least. Can we prioritize this, please? Just go ahead and be like, yo, get that done right away. There we go. It's 15 to 45. Come on. A little bit more than that would be lovely. Okay, 16 to 45 is a little bit more. Literally a little bit more, but more than that would be lovely. There we go. You've got to be using steel tools, right? Tool iron. No, interesting. Thought that was going very quickly, but okay. One more woodcutter and no more builders. All right, that has got to do some good stuff for us. Absolutely got to do some good stuff for us. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get another 1 stonecutter, and we'll stay on 15 laborers there. We do have these 2 small fields over here as well. I'm actually thinking that maybe we could go ahead and say, you know, do some wheat and do some wheat. Because I mean, it's 4 farmers. That's not ridiculous. And that means that the brewery, the tavern, whatever it's called, the tavern, can keep doing some work a little longer throughout the year. So that seems like it might be a good thing. Now let me see. We have 3 cows and 1 calf. I think it is a calf, right? It's a calf? 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 I'm always really conscious of my pronunciation of calf. I'm always, because I don't know what it is. It's one of those words that just does not work with my accent. I've had this conversation before. Like, if you've been a relatively long-term watcher of the channel, you'll be well aware of the many struggles of my accent. Calf is apparently another one of those words. Because, I mean, I can say, like, decaf coffee. That sounds like decaf, right? That sounds fine to me. But obviously that's C-A-F-F, calf, as in caffeine. But calf, as in baby cow, which is a whole nother word, because it could be cow or cow. Obviously, cow being sort of the more, like, sort of English, American pronunciation, whereas cow is the... I know it's the kind of Northern Irish one. I'm trying to think, is that the Scottish one? Is it cow in Scotland as well? Here, pal, you see that field of cow? Yeah, but cows. That's I like that I can answer my own question by just doing a bad accent. That's great. Right, I'm not gonna buy anything from you. I'm tempted by the ale, but we'll say no. So yeah, anyway, my accent, if you don't know, and people, I don't know the last time I told this story, but whatever. People ask from time to time, you know, where am I from? I've got like bits of Australian in there, some people say. Some people think I sound Scottish or English, or like I've lived in America for a long time, but I'm actually Irish or something like that. Over the last, I don't know, 15 years, I have had friends all across the world, on Xbox Live, on PC, through Skype and Discord and MSN Messenger and TeamSpeak and Ventrilo. I've had friends all over the world. And that combined with my job, I don't really have all that many friends IRL. I have a couple, but not all that many that I would hang about with on a regular basis. So I've always been a sponge for accents, right? I hear someone's accent and I think it's cool. I'm like, I want to do that accent. And the Scottish accent that I do from time to time, I don't necessarily think it's good, but one of my best friends for a very, very long time was Scottish, and this was a dude I knew through Xbox Live, and whether or not it's... We'll not get into the argument as to whether or not, you know, how sad it may or may not be that my best friend was through Xbox Live. I mean, I found it fine and, you know, considered him a best friend, so what people think of it doesn't matter to me. But he was Scottish, and we would both regularly... Oh, I don't know what the award is, but I'll take it. We would both regularly sort of make fun of the Scottish accent, so that's kind of how that came about. I've been doing a Scottish accent probably longer than other accents, which again is funny if it's a bad accent. But yeah, that's how it came about. That's why my voice is the way it is. Because I've always been a sponge for accents, and on top of that, when I started on YouTube, my accent was a little bit stronger than it is at the moment. And I kind of made a point. I don't know, I'm just watching Banished at this point. We're all watching this video at this point, because I'm not even talking about the game. I'll keep this bit brief. When I started on YouTube, I tried to do like a sort of posh version of my own accent, and it didn't work. And that eventually sort of just faded into my real accent. So when people are like, oh, your voice is so fake, it's really not. This is... I mean, I'm talking a little bit clearer than I would in real conversation, right? Because this is a presentation, this is a production, this is a production, basically, right? That's not to say that my voice is fake. It's like, if like with actors, I'm not saying I'm an actor, but with actors, especially stage actors, and especially Shakespearean actors, what you'll find is they have their stage voice and their normal voice, and their normal voice is just their stage voice, but not projected. So my voice at the minute is my normal voice, but projected because video. Hopefully that makes sense. Also a bunch of iron tools. Thank you very much. We also have 312 stored tools right now, which is nuts. And 21 laborers as well. So that's good. That is some very good news right there. We also have a decent amount of resources, so let me go ahead and say, let's upgrade 2 more of these houses here. We'll get that done, and eventually this whole island will be upgraded to all these lovely stone houses. Then it's just the rest of them that need to be upgraded, which is going to be a whole thing. Go ahead and get those builders for the time being. And I'm realizing we could totally throw a bunch of stone cutters in again. That is totally an option. And I'm also thinking we need to get the population growing again, because the number of children has dropped by about 20. And I know a lot of them have gone to school, but I think the population just needs to climb again. So let's go for these little houses up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And another one just there. And that leaves us a bit of space in the middle. We can actually do a stockpile in there, which I think will be a really good thing. So we'll do 12 of these houses up here. Which again, I think that's probably not a bad number to have up by these farms, especially as over time they will eventually fill up with... can I actually get this in here? Oh, I totally can. Oh, that is perfect right there. All right. Storage barn right in the middle of them. Meaning if we put more farms or anything up above these houses, there is a storage barn right there. That seems absolutely perfect. So hopefully we can get those built at some point. Pretty sizable job, but in terms of food production, I think we're doing okay. So I think we'll manage it. We have 18 laborers. It's not like we can't. It's really not like we can't do this. We'll get all that mined out. As for down here, did we clear this whole area yet? We're still clearing it. It is very nearly done though, which is great news. So hopefully we can keep that up. And hopefully that'll work out.